First pitch from Gillis, high above the letters for a ball. It'll be 1-0. BYU wearing their gray uniforms. The Cougars in script across the chest, pinstripes. Portland Pilots wearing their black tops and pinstripe pants. Portland in purple across the chest, and the numbers on the left lower oblique. So 2-0 for Gillis to start out McIntyre. Overall yesterday, 2 for 3 with a walk as well. Off speed gets him to swing through it, 2-1. Infield playing back except for Pataxel at third. He's almost on the infield grass. Gets jammed inside. Gillis will field it himself, flip it to Brown, and there's one away. Hayden Latham now coming to the plate. Latham hitting .214 on the year, making his 16th start. 12 hits and 11 RBI. Go along with 2 home runs as they start conference play. Back of the batter's box. Open stance, swings through the first pitch. It's 0-1. Defensive lineup for Portland. Briley Knight, Jake Holcroft, and Evan Scavato in the outfield, left to right. Pataxel, Saunders, Sukata, and Brown, your infield, and Nick Klemp getting the start behind the plate after having yesterday off. The 0-1. Gets him at the knees, outer half of the plate. It's now 0-2.
Yeah, we're on the 2-day Tamero watch. It sounds like he's still under the weather, and I'm really looking forward to see what he can do. We only got to see him in limited action when they were here a month ago, and he's had a great month away, and we're all looking forward to seeing him play.
That one in the dirt. Klemp comes out from behind the plate. A strike over to Brown, and there's another strikeout for Gillis already on the season. He's now got 32. And that'll bring up Andrew Pintar, the co-WCC Freshman of the Year last season. Collegiate Baseball All-American and WCC First Team Selection. Just a sophomore out of Spanish Fork, Utah. Gillis' first pitch off the plate. Klemp couldn't frame it in the zone. It'll be 1-0. Pataxel playing in front of the bag at third. Brown, the first baseman, well off the line. And now Pintar ahead on the count, 2-0. Make it 3-0. 56, partly cloudy today. At points, we will have around 11-mile-per-hour winds, but that should be blowing in here at Joe Etzel Field. The 3-0. And no call from the umpire. 4-pitch walk. Gillis' 6th walk on the season. He's been very effective, much like Nick Nygaard. Not a lot of walks and punches guys out.
Yeah, all those pitches that were called balls were super competitive balls. Just right there around the strike zone.
Mike Goebel is behind home plate today. At first base is Dan Payne, who was behind the plate yesterday. As Gamble swings to the first pitch off speed, he's behind 0-1. Tyler Schmidt over at second, and Joe Penna is the third base umpire today. Gamble yesterday went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. He did have a walk in the game as Gillis throws over to first. Tag applied to Pintar as he slides back in head first. We'll go back to 0-1. Gamble, a junior from Alpine, Utah, to Salt Lake Community College. Gillis puts that one in the dirt. It's 1-1. If you're a Portland fan, Salt Lake Community College might sound a bit familiar. Former basketball player Chase Adams transferred to Salt Lake Community College. They're currently #1 in the junior college circuit right now. The 1-1. Great pitch from Gillis, painting the outer part of the plate. It's now 1-2 on Gamble. Gillis setting up on the first base side of the rubber. Decent lead. Secondary, and Gamble swings at the low pitch, and he's punched out. 2 strikeouts for Gillis in the first inning. They strand a runner over at first. Due up for the Pilots when we return. It's Sukata, Holcroft, and Pataxel on the WCC Network. Welcome back to Joe Edsel Field, bottom of the first inning. Jansen Kiesel on the mound for BYU. And Corey, from what we've heard about this young man, active arm, pitching up in the 90s. Could be difficult for Portland today.
Yeah, 94 to 97 is what we've heard. A lot of fastballs. His foundation of pitching is fastballs. He likes to work up in the zone, so he'll climb the ladder on you. And just watching him, he's got a good little slider, too. So very competitive arm today on the mound for BYU.
Well, with the fastball that he likes to throw, could you see the same type of approach that Portland had yesterday? Let's get you the lineup first. Sukata, Holcroft, and Pataxel, the first 3. Brown batting cleanup, Riley Knight batting 5th, Scavato, Klemp, and Lovelace, and Ty Saunders will round out the bottom of the lineup. But going back to the approach yesterday, with the live arm and Sterner throwing a lot of fastballs, Portland was swinging at that first pitch a lot.
Yeah, I expect him to do that today with his big arm on the mound.
First pitch inside and high on Sukata. It'll make it 1-0. Sukata hitting .262, making his 18th appearance, 16th start on the season. He's got 16 hits as he takes another pitch inside for a ball. It'll be 2-0. And right now it seems like Goebel behind the plate. Not a lot of give on the right side right now.
It's like we had in the Creighton series. One of the umpires didn't give much on one side of the plate and gave a lot on the other. And so far we saw that. We saw Gillis throw a couple competitive pitches on that side of the plate and didn't get them. And now it's happening here. So
slight movement by the infield to the right. Third baseman Ozzie Pratt playing on the grass. And after falling behind 2-0, Jansen Kiesel works himself back even at 2-2. The 2-2 on Sukata. Fouls it off of himself.
that hurts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not often you see them actually fall to the ground, but Sukata not wearing an ankle guard either.
Yeah, he doesn't regularly do that, but that ball was really in on him, and he was down and in and just got it right off his front foot.
Yep. On the air.
Can't wear a guard off your front
No,
foot.
you can't.
Yeah, so.
Would have happened either way. So here's the 2-2 back on Sukata. High, above the letters and away, make it a full count, 3-2. You know, earlier in this season for Kiesel, in his first start against Marshall, he talked about how he likes to use that fastball. He came out with 48 consecutive fastballs to start that game. Sukata, ground ball to the right side. Pintar ranges to his left, picks it up, throws it over to first, and Sukata retired. Corey, I mean, you're a big pitching guy. 48 straight fastballs. Now, he got 9 Ks during that span, but could you imagine yourself calling 48 straight fastballs for your guy?
For me, 100%. It really depends. If you've got an arm that their foundation is fastball, I'm going to use that fastball until I don't have to use that fastball. There's a lot of different trains of thoughts on how to call pitches, but if you've got a power arm and you can get them out, in, out, and up, we're going to go ahead and try to do that.
Defensive lineup for BYU: Latham, McIntyre, and Gamble. The outfield: Pratt, Watkins, Pintar, and Deming. The infield from left to right, and Colin Reuter getting the start behind the plate for the second straight day. The pitcher on the mound: Jansen Kiesel. Starting out, Holcroft, 1-1 count. Check swing. No appeal down. Called for a ball to be 2-1 on Holcroft. Now, yesterday we saw a bit of a shift with 2 strikes on Holcroft. No movement right now from the infield. And again, patient at bat right now for Jake Holcroft. 3-1 on a close pitch just out of the zone. Holcroft hits one back up the middle, and the first hit for the Pilots here in the bottom of the first. He's going to stretch this one into a double. The throw's going to take the man off the bag, and Holcroft's in there safely at second. Watkins couldn't apply the tag. Aggressive base running right there by Jake Holcroft. Apparently he saw something right off the bat, that the center fielder wasn't going after the ball.
Yeah, I just love the base running of the Pilots. I talk about it all the time, but Holcroft just right out of the box was going to hustle double, try to change a little bit of momentum here early in the game, and he did that.
Great view of it right there. Holcroft getting underneath the tag of Watkins. Ben Pataxel up at the plate. First pitch he sees inside, about ankle high. It'll be 1-0. Kiesel back in high school. 2-time first team All-Region and All-State. He was ranked as the #1 prospect in the state of Utah by Prep Baseball Report. Looks back at Holcroft. Now comes home with it. This one gets past the catcher Reuter. So Holcroft moves up to third base. And he's 90 feet away from scoring the first run of today's game. And if you're Portland, if you can get the ball on the right side of the infield, might be able to get a run. And fouled off by Pataxel. A rare double hit off the bat. It'll be 2-1. Slight wind looking at the flag out in center field. No movement from the outfield for BYU. The middle infielders playing back almost on the outfield grass. 2-1 inside on Pataxel as he spins out of the way of that one. It's 3-1. Bit of a different position for Portland right now. So far this season, they haven't lost the opening game of a series. But now, after losing yesterday in game 1, they want to bounce back and make sure they aren't losing the series in game 2. As Pataxel now with a full count, 3-2. Deming, the first baseman, well off the line at first. Pataxel, ground ball, chopper over to Watkins at short. Holcroft will score the throw over to first in time to get Pataxel, but he picks up the RBI. And the Pilots have a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, great baseball by the Pilots. Hustle double, moved up to third, and then an opportunity to get a ground ball and an easy run.
I mean, that hustle double changes everything right there, because if he's only at first, I mean, on that pass ball, he's only at second. That ground ball, he probably stays because it's a chopper to short. So taking that extra bag was crucial for Holcroft and the Pilots early on as Sam Brown steps into the left-handed batter's box. Takes a first pitch ball to be 1-0. Well, when the Pilots didn't have much life yesterday, late in the ball game, it was Sam Brown with a solo home run into right field to tack on another run for Portland to make it 6-2 in the final. As he takes a strike here, 1-1 at the knees. 2 outs, the 1-1. Brown, no chase on the fastball away. It'll be 2-1.
We always talk about the parking lots being 90% air, but today on campus there is zero parking, and it's not 90% air. I almost need my parking validated today.
Yeah, that's one of the issues of having a midday game still during the school week. Kids going to classes and the parking spots that normally are open aren't available to us. The 3-1. Strike at the knees, outer part of the plate, full count.
Saw lots of families walking around, touring the campus, trying to make a good decision for college. And then obviously there's a big basketball game tonight. So hustle and bustle around here on the Bluff.
Busy weekend for the Pilots. A 3-2. Brown goes down with a strikeout, chasing the high fastball. And that will end the Pilots' half of the first inning, but they take a 1-0 lead thanks to a Holcroft hustle double and a Pataxel RBI ground out. We head to the second inning. Sapiti, Reuter, and Deming due up for the Cougars. Ryan Sapiti stepping to the plate, the DH for BYU today. Sapiti got the start yesterday, went 1 for 3 with an RBI, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Right now, the Cougars trailing 1-0. Ground ball up the middle off the mound and into center field. Sapiti, first pitch he sees, sends it back, and the leadoff man is aboard for BYU, and that'll bring up Colin Reuter.
The catcher, number 18, Colin Reuter.
Reuter hitting 182 on the season. He's got 8 hits and 7 RBI and 44 at-bats. Gillis throws. Off speed, low and away for a strike. It's 0-1. Reuter yesterday was 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout. Sun trying to peek through the clouds here at Joe Etzel. Clem popped up like he was going to throw over to first. Ends up holding on to it. We saw Boedo get the best of McIntyre yesterday thanks to a heck of a play by Sam Brown over at first on the back pick. Breaking ball from Gillis. Gets the swing from Reuter. It's 1-2. Not much movement defensively for Portland. Sukata and Saunders at double play depth. The 1-2. Clem blocks that one, keeps it in front of the plate, evening the count at 2-2.
Yeah, BYU moves their players around based on spray charts, and Portland plays everybody pretty straight up. It's a little different approach.
Slightly open stance. Fouled off of Klemp. The umpire, Goebel, asking if he was okay. Klemp is ready to go. Normally you see a little sportsmanship with the umpire going out, giving the ball to the pitcher, but right there, those two figured it out right away. The 2-2 for Gillis. And he gets Reuter chasing on a high pitch. Third strikeout for Gillis. And that sends up Austin Deming. Yesterday started at third. Then about halfway through the game, they moved him over to first. But Deming went 1 for 4 with an RBI yesterday. Clem popping up, but the ball falls out of his glove. Starting out the count 1-0 on Deming. Pataxo playing in at third. The throw. High and away, no chase from Deming. It'll be 2-0. Well, Gillis coming into today, good for third best in the conference. And total ERA. Runners going for second. Deming. High fly ball into left field. Pataxo's on his horse. Same with Saunders, but it'll go foul and bounce into the bullpen of Portland. Looked to be a hit and run for BYU. That'll make the count 2-1.
Yeah, all three of those players ran a long ways to get that ball, and it kind of landed in the one spot that all three of them couldn't get to.
Gillis right now ranks 4th coming into today in total strikeouts. 31, he's already got 3, so he's at 34. Deming swings at another one. It's 2-2. Corey's talked about it a couple times, but the transition of Brett Gillis over the last 2 years has been incredible to watch. And he hangs a breaking ball, Deming all over it, but Holcroft makes the running catch out in left center field. Bit worrisome with the contact off the bat, but Holcroft playing deep, makes the catch on the run in left center field. Deming retired, and there's 2 away for Brock Watkins.
Yeah, off the bat, no doubt he thought that was going to be down maybe for a double, and Holcroft just got a really good jump on it and got to it. Similar to what McIntyre did to one of the Pilots yesterday early in the game.
Ground ball to the left side. Saunders flips it to Sukata for the force out at second, and that will end it here in the second inning. We head to the bottom of the second. Knight, Scavato, and Klemp due up for the Pilots on the WCC Network. Danson Kiesel back out on the mound. Gave up a run in the first inning thanks to a hustle play by Jake Holcroft, who had a single, stretched into a double and put him into scoring position, and he came in on a ground out by Ben Pataxel. First pitch to Briley Knight, catching the outer part of the plate, first strike, about knee high. It's 0-1, and a shift has been put on for Knight. Shortstop Watkins playing behind the bag at second, and the second baseman Pintar in shallow right field. Good pitch close to the zone, called a ball. It'll be 1-1. Knight says that shift doesn't matter. Sends a one-hopper into right field. Gamble will field it, and the leadoff man is aboard for Portland. Here you get another look at it.
Fielder number 22, Evan Scavato.
Evan Scavato steps to the plate. Scavato has basically cemented himself out in right field for the most part this season. And that was a question mark coming into this year. You knew Holcroft was going to be out there. You knew Briley Knight was going to be out there. But who was going to fill that third outfield position? And Scavato, with a strong arm, is patient at the plate, swings a good stick, has found himself in the lineup on more than one occasion.
Yeah, he's shown his arm off big a few times here on the bluff already.
The 1-0. Kiesel sets up on the third base side of the rubber. Decent lead for Knight over at first. The throw to Scavato, low and away. It'll make it 2-0. Now, Corey, they just had a shift on Briley Knight. The MLB just talked about dismissing the shift altogether. How do you feel about that with the strategy of baseball and moving your defense, looking at spray charts? What do you think about them taking away the shift in the MLB?
Yeah, I'm a fan of being able to use the shift if you want to use the shift. The problem is when they use the shift, other teams need to start making an adjustment against it. Like with 2 strikes, they're going to move. BYU is going to move their third baseman over there behind second base, and quite frankly, I might tell my guy to bunt with 2 strikes to the third baseman, and it's a single every time, and force them to get out of those advantageous positions.
Scavato just gets out of the way of that one high. Almost headhunting there, but a 4-pitch walk. And so the first 2 batters of the inning are on base for Portland. And that sends up Nick Klemp, today's catcher.
We've seen Klemp bunt in this situation before. He can do it. And he's got great feet for a catcher.
As Reuter comes out in front of the plate, gives the infield the signals, excuse me. Klemp batting .304 in 7 games this season. 7 hits, 4 runs, and an RBI. But you're right, we have seen him way down the bunt. We've got Deming coming in from first. The bunt squared down the third baseline and foul for a strike, so Klemp will come back to the plate. It seems like Coach Loomis has got the same idea that you have. Move those runners into scoring position with nobody out.
Yeah, and Klemp runs well, and right there, that wasn't straight sacrifice. That looked like what we call dragifice, which is he showed late and tried to drag for a base hit, and you want that ball to be perfect or foul, and it was foul. Now he might just go to straight sack here or let him hit away. It'd be interesting to see what he calls.
No, Deming was coming in at first. Ozzie Pratt, the third baseman, showed late. Now he's coming in, and a high chopper over the first baseman. It worked out to their favor. Pintar can't get to it. Knight's going to be sent home. The right fielder Gamble couldn't get a clean handle of it. And ending up over at third is Scavato. What a play by Nick Klemp. Squared to bunt. Deming came in from first and chopped it right over him.
Yeah, a little spin and baseball back in the Portland State days. Dak Dunn, they used to put that bat out there, and if the defense over-rotated where the middle would move away and the corners would come too fast, they'd just pull it back and whack it by him, and that's exactly what they did right there, is just whacked it by him. We call that a sluggo or a slap bunt, if you will.
So Klemp over at first and Scavato over at third. 2-0 lead now for Portland. Ethan Lovelace squares to bunt, and it goes foul. So he'll start out 0-1. Lovelace making his 10th appearance on the season, only his 3rd start. Still looking for that first hit. Only 6 at-bats on the season.
Yeah, I really like that play and that look. You haven't seen it for a while. You don't see it in Division I baseball that often. You'll see it in high school, maybe some junior college, but it's there's a lot of guys that believe in that spin 'em baseball. And like I said, if you're going to run wheel, which is vacate the middle of the infield to get the lead out, then a lot of times guys will pull back and try to slap it up the middle.
That time Klemp was fortunate that it bounced right over the first baseman who was charging in. Klemp's going for second. And no throw. He'll have the stolen base. So both runners now in scoring position. Still no outs for Portland here in the bottom of the second with a 2-0 lead. And you have to think Portland really has to be somewhat aggressive here, try to get as many runs as you can. BYU's offense is pretty lethal at times, and now the infield being pulled in for BYU.
Yeah, Loveless not liking that strike. It was a high fastball.
Time called. Loveless now working with an 0-2 count. See if he can hit in a run. Get his first hit of the season. The 0-2 goes down with a strikeout. And that is the first out for Portland here in the second inning. And that'll bring up Ty Saunders, a switch hitter for Portland.
Shortstop, number 5, Ty Saunders.
Coming into this season, we all heard about Chad Stevens getting drafted to the Astros. We weren't necessarily concerned, but more wondering who would really fill those shoes. We saw Saunders a couple of times last season fill in at shortstop late in games. But so far this season, he's done a terrific job out in the field. He's starting to get the bat going with the infield still pulled in with one out. Throw down the third. No tag applied. Scavato back safely.
Yeah, actually BYU pitched out right there. They were guessing safety squeeze. They pitched out and they were wrong, but great little call there. I kind of like it.
Saunders was 1 for 4 yesterday with a single in his first at-bat. I got Klemp on second, Scavato on third. No call from the home plate umpire. It's 2-0. After Saunders, you go back to the top of the lineup to Sukata and possibly Holcroft. The 2-0. Saunders sends this one into left field. It's going away from the left field. This one could go all the way to the wall. Klemp center around third. Saunders at second. A big round around the base, and he retreats back to second. It's a 2 RBI double for Ty Saunders.
Yeah, great piece of hitting by Saunders. You know, they were pitching away from him, and he just took a ball in the outer half and flipped it over to their left field. Hit it down into the corner and 2-run score, and the Pilots got a big inning going.
So 3 runs have now come in to score, and they have a 4-0 lead. And that'll bring us back to the top of the lineup to Jake Sukata as we have a meeting on the mound right now. Should know that Kiesel coming into today, a 1.77 ERA, was 2-0 in 4 starts. 25 strikeouts in 20 1/3 innings pitched so far this season. But again, with only 1 out and a runner back in scoring position, it looks like BYU just sent an arm down to their bullpen.
Yeah, the Pilots can hit fastballs, and they proved that last night. They didn't hit it. They hit it right at people yesterday. Today they're hitting them where they're not. And if you're going to be a steady dose of fastballs, everybody in that lineup can hit them.
You know what? I'm also noticing small differences right now today compared to yesterday, where yesterday the Pilots got a couple runners on, and today we already saw them try to square to bunt to move those runners. That was not the case yesterday. But today it seems like the philosophy has changed. Sukata check swing, and no call from the umpire. It'll be a ball. It's 1-0.
Well, a lot of times that decision to bunt is personnel-based, and I've got a feeling, and I don't know this, but I got a feeling that Klemp might be one of the better bunters on the team because Coach has gone to him many times with that, and obviously that little sluggo was pretty cool.
Sukata patiently waits on ball 2. It's 2-0. Klemp picked up the RBI to start the scoring here in the second. Just had Saunders with that 2 RBI double. Here's the 2-0, Sukata. That one looked well off the plate and low, but Reuter framed it back in for a strike. It's 2-1.
He's actually consistently called it over that white line, to be honest with you. He's missed a few. He's missed a couple up and a couple in, but for the most part, he's been consistent.
That's all you really are hoping for out of an umpire, is you get a rough idea of what his box looks like.
Yeah, I think he's 4 balls away, honestly, on the left-hander. And if you're left-handed and you're in either dugout, you need to know that he's going to call it out there. So at some point, you got to make that adjustment.
The 3-1 on Sukata. Kiesel looks back at Pataxel, and Sukata sends it into right center field. Saunders is sent home. And an RBI single for Sukata, and another run on the board for Portland. And Holcroft will come to the plate now. As you just saw, the teammates celebrating after Sukata got the RBI single. Sukata's got a decent lead over at first. As Kiesel peeks over his shoulder. Holcroft belts one into right field. The hit parade continues. It goes all the way to the fence. Sukata to third. Valentine's going to hold him up there, and a double for Holcroft. 2 runners now in scoring position. Sukata moves over to third. And the Pilots are just all over Kiesel right now in the second inning.
Yeah, hitting is contagious, and when one guy gets going and another guy gets going, then before you know it, doesn't matter where it's pitched, what the pitch is, there's just barrels all over the field, and that's what the Pilots have done this inning.
2 doubles so far today for Holcroft. As Ben Pataxel steps to the plate, he's 0 for 1 today, grounded out to second. And we're going to have a meeting on the mound. And I think his day's done.
100% second visit. So.
Yep. And that'll be it. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. A pitching change. Bottom of the second inning. Portland with a 5-0 lead. Welcome back to Joe Edsel Field. Brian Slyke and Corey Kier with your call. The Portland Pilots have just hit Jansen Kiesel out of the game. 5 runs on 6 hits. And the new man on the mound is Peyton Cole. Cole making his 4th appearance on the season, has a 1-0 record with a 0 ERA through 5 innings. He's given up 5 hits and struck out 6 during that time. Opponents are hitting .278 against him. Sophomore from Las Vegas, Nevada. Throw back to Holcroft. Back safely. Cole's brother Tyler pitched for BYU, currently in the Angels organization, as the infield pulled in with only 1 out on Pataxel. Breaking ball for a strike, outer part of the plate. It's 0-1. Cole is a converted infielder, turned pitcher for BYU. The 0-1. Out of the glove of Reuter. And now you see the wind has picked up on that flag out in center field. Now it's blowing in, sometimes blowing left or right. And if you're going to hit one out of the yard today, you're going to have to cut through that wind. No movement from the outfield. The infield still playing in. Breaking ball stays high, 2-1. Well, Corey, if you're in the dugout for BYU, not a great position to be in with runners on second and third with one out. But what are you telling your guys in this situation? It's still so early in the game. You can't be discouraged as Pataxel swings through the off speed. It's 2-2.
No, you just get back to winning innings. And the big thing is you got to minimize damage now, get out of this inning, and then try to win the next one. But it definitely is not over. But
tough hill to climb, the 2-2. Pataxel gets one through the 5-hole. Sukata scores easily. Valentine holds up Holcroft over at third. And an RBI single for Pataxel. And now it's 6-0 for Portland. Runners on the corners for Sam Brown. Always a dangerous hitter as the guys circle around Sukata. You know, Pataxel took that ball that was off the plate away from him and still able to turn on it into the 5-hole. Brown now in the batter's box. He struck out last time to end the first inning. It's Reuter out in front of the plate. Brown, a freshman All-American last season. Sophomore from Petaluma, California. Certainly has a lot of pop in that bat. Slightly open stance from the left-handed batter's box. Takes off speed for a strike. It's 0-1. Briley Knight is on deck. Well, now that we're our second time through this lineup, Brown and Lovelace are the only ones to not record a hit so far for Portland. Holcroft is in rare company since he's one of the few that's actually had 2 at-bats. He's 2 for 2 today. Cole peeks over his shoulder, comes home with it. Low and away from Brown, 2-1.
Yeah, a couple pitches ago, Cole didn't come to a complete stop. I thought a balk was going to be called. I heard one of the coaches fire out that you got to come to a stop.
We've seen one balk called already this season, and that was back in the Creighton series. Brown goes opposite field this time, high into left field, dropping back is Latham. He's at the warning track, and a jumbo! 3-run home run by Sam Brown, opposite field.
Showing some effervescent red hair power to the opposite field. Sam Brown's just really fun to watch play baseball, man. He does something every single dang game, man. He's fun to watch.
And wouldn't you just love to be in that party down in the dugout right now for Portland? And again, they're trying to hammer away from these batters for Portland. Brown able to get enough barrel on it to send Latham into the wall, and the ball over the fence. Knight sends a rocket down the first baseline, goes foul. It'll be 0-1.
Yeah, the big thing the Pilots are doing in this inning is they're hitting the ball where it's pitched. You know, Holcroft gets a slider in, he hooks one down the line. Pataxel gets one on the outer half, and he flares it down the left field line. Brown gets some elevated fastball away from him, and he goes ahead and just goes yabo out of the yard. So the Pilots are really swinging the bats well today.
And we were just talking about the wind blowing in, and you're really going to have to cut through it. And that one, the wind died down just enough and carried over the fence, and now it's a 9-0 lead for Portland in the bottom of the second inning with 8 runs across the board in this inning alone.
Don't discount Sam Brown's raw power. He's got a raw power tool.
Knight looked like he wanted to an opportunity to round the bases like Brown right there, but comes up empty. It's 2-2. Knight coming into today, batting .261 with 12 hits on the season. And now with 2 strikes, you see the shift. Ozzie Pratt, the third baseman, going on the right side of second base. Watkins, the shortstop, still closer to the bag at second. A wide open left side of the infield. Knight pops it up, out into left field. Latham calls off the shortstop. He makes the grab, and there's 2 away. And that'll bring up Evan Scavato. Last time up, he walked on 4 pitches. That was just earlier in this inning. As Knight came up for his second time in this inning, now it's Scavato's turn. First pitch away off the plate. It's 1-0. Scavato got jammed inside. Slow roller over to Watkins at short. Comes up throwing, and that'll end the Pilots' half of the bottom of the second inning, but not before they get 8 runs across the board, and now they lead 9-0. We head to the third. 2 up for BYU. Ozzie Pratt, Mitch McIntyre, and Hayden Latham when we return on the WCC Network.
Cougars, the third baseman, number 5.
Welcome back to Joe Etzel Field. A 9-0 lead right now for Brett Gillis on the mound. Plenty of room to work with as Ozzie Pratt steps to the plate. Pratt yesterday had 1 at-bat, got a hit out of it. Breaking ball from Gillis, first pitch, first strike. It's 0-1. Pratt yesterday had a single back in the 8th inning where he was left stranded over at third. Now he squares to bunt, pops up in front of the plate. Klemp fields it himself and gets it to Brown with the stretch. 1 out recorded here in the third.
Center fielder, number 6, Mitch McIntyre.
Klemp just so fast getting out of his stance to get that ball. And now we go back to the top of the lineup to Mitch McIntyre. 0 for 1 today. He grounded out to Brent Gillis his last time up. First pitch ball, 1-0. The wind's sort of all over the place now. Now it's blowing from right to left. Inside at the knees for a strike. It's 1-1.
Quite a long inning. Feels like we saw Brett yesterday.
Yeah, right?
It's
surprised he didn't go down to the bullpen and get a session in before getting back out on the mound. The 1-1. Check swing. They have to appeal that one. And no need to. The home plate umpire, Mike Goebel, said he went around. It's 1-2. Gillis at 30 pitches through 2 1/3. Only given up 1 hit so far. Another one in the dirt. Klemp stays in front of it, or keeps it in front of him, I should say. 2-2. And with the sun peeking through, more fans continue to make their way into the stadium here. And the breaking ball gets him. McIntyre just frozen at the plate. And 2 away now for Gillis.
Little slider in the outer half. You're going to see it's back over that 4 balls. And again, if you're left-handed, you can't really complain. It's the 3rd inning. He's calling it every single time over there. When you get 2 strikes, you better pinch that plate a little bit because he's going to call it out there.
Latham takes a first pitch strike, about thigh-high fastball. It's 0-1. Latham is 0 for 1 today with a strikeout back in the first. It was Gillis' first victim via strikeout. Clem tried to frame it in zone, goes for a ball, 1-1. Infield playing back. Fly ball into right field. Scavato took a step in. Now he takes a couple of steps to his left, makes the catch on a routine fly ball. And 3 up and 3 down for Gillis on the mound. We head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. It's Klemp, Lovelace, and Saunders when we return on the WCC Network. Nick Klemp coming to the plate, 1 for 1 today with an RBI. So he singled in the 2nd inning to open up the scoring. Peyton Cole back on the mound for BYU after coming in relief for Jansen Kiesel. Kiesel's final line, 1 1/3 innings pitched, 46 pitches thrown, giving up 6 hits, 7 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, and a walk. Meanwhile, Cole, 2 hits and 2 earned runs so far. Klemp fouls it back behind us for a strike, 1-2. Only one man still looking for that first hit of the day for Portland, and that's Ethan Lovelace. Everybody else in the lineup has gotten a hit so far. Klemp lays off that last off-speed pitch to make it 2-2.
Well, 4-2.
Yeah, I thought that was only ball 3, but apparently that's ball 4 for Klemp. My apologies, but the leadoff man is aboard for Portland, and Ethan Lovelace now to the plate. Wind blowing in. Base on the flag out in center field. It's Lovelace waits in the left-handed batter's box. Cole looks over his shoulder, throws home, and fouled off behind us for a strike, 0-1. And with how often the Pilots have scored here early on in this game, you have to think this was probably what they were hoping for. Yesterday, swinging early against Sterner, but unable to find those gaps. They've had a couple of plays go their way. As you've mentioned a couple times, the sluggo play by Nick Klemp seemed to be one of those first balls that just found its way to be a hit that Portland couldn't get yesterday. So Lovelace with an even count, 1-1. Secondary for Klemp high on Lovelace. It'll make it 2-1.
Yeah, and the execution of that play brings a little extra juice to the club, and every player after that just has a little better at bat.
Builds momentum and confidence with each batter in the lineup. No movement from the outfield for BYU. Lovelace trying to put a drive into one. Comes up empty. It's 2-2.
There, Cole did that again. He quick pitched. Got to the bottom of his set position and never stopped and just kept going.
High and away to make it a full count, 3-2. Something we'll keep an eye on for sure for the rest of the time that he's out there. Loomis out in front of the dugout for Portland. The 3-2. Klemp is going, and Lovelace fouls it off. And we'll go back to the 3-2. Lovelace looking for his first hit of the season. Be great to get one right here with the full count. Klemp is going again. And they're saying that Lovelace strikes out. Klemp gets the stolen base. A late call from the home plate umpire.
Wow, pretty unfair for Lovelace. That's the second at-bat that he's had. And I'm not trying to be a bad umpire guy, but his last at-bat when he went to
Squared the bunt.
When he squared the bunt and the base runner was stealing, he got a ball called in his eyes for a strike, and that one was way in on him.
So now one out with a runner on second for Portland, and that brings up Ty Saunders, who doubled in 2 runs his last time up. Reuter able to stay in front of that one. It'll be 1-0 to start off Saunders this at-bat. That double he hit wound up in the corner near the hitting facility for Portland down the left field line. Cole looks back at Klemp, comes home with it. Saunders waits on it. Now ahead on the count, 2-0. And right now, BYU, it's just, who do I not want to face in this lineup? Everybody seems to be on top of the arms for BYU. As Sukata's due up after Saunders here. The 2-0. Off speed in there for a strike just above the belt, outer half of the plate. 2-1. Well, Coach Loomis put together quite a good squad last season. Now, they finished below 500 overall, but in conference play, they finished 4th, which is one of their best finishes with him as the head coach here at Portland. And then this season, I mean, you return 28 players. You only welcome in 10 new guys. I mean, there's a lot of continuity with this team. A lot of the similar faces we've seen the last 2 seasons still out there for Portland. And it's really starting to show off with this 12-5 start. 3-1 on Saunders. Skied. And this one could stay on the infield. Watkins at short, camps underneath it, makes the catch. And Saunders is retired for the second out. And I should say it's not just Loomis that's doing a good job. I mean, you've got Valentine, you've got Lambert, you've got Daniel Lopez as well.
Coach Watt, Trey Watt.
Yep, exactly.
Coaching the catchers.
I mean, overall, the coaching staff has done such a great job over the last few seasons. And this program certainly headed in the right direction. Low and outside for Sukata, 1-0.
Well, you don't come to the Bluff anymore to think that you're just going to win 2 or 3 and go home. Every single game is a competitive game. There's always going to be a good arm out there. They're always going to defend. They're always going to run the bases, and that's just what Loomis has been able to get going.
Sukata drives one into center field. McIntyre takes a few steps back and makes it look routine. After the leadoff man is on with a walk, it's 3 straight outs for Portland. We head to the 4th inning. Pintar, Gamble, and Sapiti due up for the Cougars when we return on the WCC Network.
Top of the 4th inning for the Cougars.
Top of the 4th inning, 9-0 lead right now for Portland. That 8th spot in the bottom of the 2nd inning really separated these two teams as Andrew Pintar, the co-WCC Freshman of the Year last season, steps into the batter's box. And you have to think with how Portland is lining up defensively. He's a pole hitter. Pataxel hugging that line over at third. Sam Brown, the first baseman, easily 10-plus feet off the line over at first. The 0-1. No chase, 1-1. BYU is a team that can put up runs in bunches. Yesterday in game 1 as Pintar pulls this ball well foul, and if you're in line waiting for those tickets for the Rock the Bluff concert, got to be careful over there. But BYU, as I was saying, they will score in bunches. So even though it's a 9-0 lead, if you're Portland, you don't want to get too comfortable. Check swing. And it seems like it was fouled off. It'll be 1-2. Looked like it went off the knob on the bottom of the bat. Slight shade to the right for the outfield for Portland. Klemp can't keep the ball in front of him. That'll even the count, 2-2. Clouds rolling in again. Cutting off some sunshine here at Joe Etzel Field, and a strikeout on Pintar. Goes down looking. And that's the second K looking for Gillis on the mound. Klemp able to get that one back into the zone as he frames it first strike. As Cole Gamble comes to the plate, 0 for 1 with a strikeout today. Fastball just overpowers Gamble. No call from Goebel behind the plate. Make it 1-1. That's one we've seen a couple of times. He calls a strike. Nothing that time around as the wind's starting to blow in. fouled off. It's 1-2 on Gambill. He gets his 6th strikeout on the day. Looked to be a low breaking ball on Gambill, and he chased.
The designated hitter, number 27.
Ryan Sapiti
Sapiti.
steps to the plate. The lone Cougar with a hit today. Singled in the 2nd inning and was left stranded. Left side of the infield playing back. First pitch strike 0-1. Right side of that infield playing in the direction of second. Brown well off the line at first. Holcroft in center now on the left side of second base. The 0-1. Breaking ball freezes Sapiti. It's 0-2. Infield back. Punched him out looking. 3 Ks in the inning alone for Gillis. 7 strikeouts on the day for Gillis. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Due up for Portland, Holcroft, Pataxel, and Brown on the WCC Network. Welcome back to Joe Edsel Field. Jake Holcroft stepping to the plate. He's 2 for 2 today with 2 singles, or excuse me, 2 doubles. And he's come around to score twice. And it seems like they already have, we have a new catcher behind the plate. It's no longer Reuter. In fact, it's, I can't really quite make out what the number is. We'll find out momentarily. The first pitch to Holcroft. Off the plate and low. It'll make it 1-0. Holcroft got an inside pitch that he was able to turn on. Foul though, 1-1. And just before this inning started, Corey, we saw the Pilots huddled together in their own dugout. Coach Valentine giving them a few words. The ground ball over to the first baseman, Deming. Steps on the bag, and Holcroft is retired for the first out. What do you think he was saying to his team?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was the, hey, we've scored 9. We play against the game of baseball, not against the scoreboard. We need to continue to have great at-bats and try to score runs. A lot of times clubs will score, have a big inning like that, and then they'll just turn it off for 10, 12 innings. They want to continue to have good at-bats, and I'm pretty sure that's what Coach Valentine was preaching down there.
Pataxel now up at the plate. 1 for 2 today, 2 RBI. He also had a single that brought in a run, and he scored a run as well. So he came in to score on a Sam Brown 3-run opposite field home run back in the 2nd inning. Pataxel got an inside pitch that he sends into the dugout for Portland. 1-1. Well, it's a busy day on the Bluff. I've seen everybody around campus get in line for tickets as Pataxel puts one down the third baseline, finds its way near the corner. He's going for two, hustling all the way, and he will beat the throw in there. And a one-out double for Pataxel.
Second look, just catches a ball out front, hooks over the third base bag down in the corner, and Pataxel's just thinking double out of the box, doesn't even hesitate.
That's already the fifth extra base hit today for Portland as Sam Brown steps to the box. The new man behind the plate is Chase Peterson, junior from McKinney, Texas. First pitch to Brown for a strike. It's 0-1. Brown is 1 for 2 today. Struck out in the first inning and a 3-run home run in the second inning. That just exploded this lead for Portland. Nine hits and 9 runs for Portland today. And yesterday they put up 7 hits on the board that just wasn't as timely as BYU's hitting was. Brown, ground ball to the right side. Pintar drops down to a knee, fields it, and the throw over to first in time to get Brown. Pataxel moves over to third. And now comes to the plate, it's Briley Knight. 1 for 2 today. Both at-bats came in the second inning. So he singled and came around to score. And then he flew out into left field his last time up. Shift put on. That pitch off the plate, ball 1-2 Knight. Ozzie Pratt has to stay over at third with Pataxel over there. But Brock Watkins, the shortstop, now on the right side of second base. So 3 infielders on the right side of the infield. Knight chases, comes up empty, 1-1. Knight, ground ball to the right side. Again, the shift does not matter. He finds a hole. And he's got himself his second hit of the day. That also brings in a run with Pataxel coming in from third. And now it's 10-0 for Portland. And a much different game than what we saw yesterday. Knight just does a good job of getting that barrel through the zone so quickly, especially on that inside pitch right there. As Evan Scavato now at the plate. Knight going for second, and he's in there safely.
Nice little down angle read. Reading that ball down in the zone, and then obviously the catcher blocking it, and the ball barely got away, but Briley had such a great jump, he's now in scoring position.
Scavato came into today batting .292 as a walk where he came around to score, and then his last time up, grounded out to Watkins at short. Another ground ball over to short. Watkins fields it on the up hop. And to Deming in time to get Scavato. Knight is left stranded on the bases, but he brings in 1 run to push that lead to 10 for Portland. We head to the 5th. Chase Peterson, Austin Deming, and Brock Watkins due up for the Cougars on the WCC Network. Coming to the plate to start off this 5th inning for BYU is the new man behind the plate, Chase Peterson. Only making his 6th appearance on the season. He's 0 for 5 on the year, looking for his first hit. As Gillis continues to go through this lineup. First pitch strike, it's 0-1. Right side of the infield playing back, almost on the outfield grass, but Gillis now ahead in the count, 0-2. Puts Axel off the line at third. Ty Saunders closer to the bag at second. The 0-2, high and inside on Peterson for a ball, 1-2. The 1-2 from Gillis, check swing. They appeal down to third, and that's a strikeout. Joe Penna punches him out, and that's 4 straight strikeouts now for Gillis. 8 strikeouts overall. Austin Deming coming to the plate. 0 for 1 today, flew out to Jake Holcroft in center field his last time up. First pitch fouled off of Klemp. It's 0-1. Holcroft yesterday had a 6-game hit streak going, but unfortunately it ended right there. So he had 3 strikeouts and he grounded out into a double play, but today he's picking up where he left off with 2 doubles. And I think we just had a warning issued. Thoughts on that, Corey?
Yeah, I think there's a little chipping going on. You know, like you said, the zone is from back here. It's been consistent, but it's not been the traditional strike zone that you'd see. It's a little wide on one side and a little narrow on the other, and I don't think BYU coaches like it.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Usually, if you're chipping at the umpire, it does not work in your favor going forward. As that pitch catches the bottom of the zone, it's now 0-2. Deming fouls it off out of the glove of Klemp. It's now back to the 0-2 count.
Yeah, when I was a young high school coach, I used to hand out a packet to my freshman and JV coach, and one of the rules in the packet was you never argue with the umpire when you're up by 10 or when you're down by 10, because it's just a waste of time.
5 straight Ks now for Gillis. And that brings up Brock Watkins. Grounded out to Ty Saunders on a fielder's choice, and his only at-bat in the day back in the 2nd inning. Wind blowing from right to left field. Watkins didn't even look like he was fully committed to make that swing. He's now behind 0-1. Sukata, the second baseman, on the outfield grass. Brown playing deep behind the bag at first. Put Taxel almost on the infield grass at third. Now he retreats behind the bag. The 0-1. Watkins swings. It's 0-2. Gillis is on the doorstep of 6 straight strikeouts. The 0-2 to Watkins. A chopper over to the left side. Pataxel gets it on the up hop. What a play by the third baseman, and delivers a strike to Brown over at first. Watkins frustrated with himself, slamming the helmet down, and the Pilots take their 10-0 lead to the bottom of the 5th inning. Nick Klebb, Ethan Lovelace, and Ty Saunders due up for the Pilots when we return on the WCC Network. Boston Mabius is the new man on the mound for BYU. Peyton Cole's day is done. 2 2/3 innings, giving up 4 hits and 3 earned runs. Mabius, a sophomore from Henderson, Nevada, suburb of Las Vegas. Klemp, the first batter he faces. High on the first pitch, it's 1-0. Mabius making his 4th appearance, has only gotten through 1 inning of work so far. That's a 27.00 ERA. He's given up 3 earned runs with 2 strikeouts. Now he's starting out Klemp with 2 straight balls. Klemp waits on ball 3. It's now 3-0. Right now, the second inning is the big difference in this game. An 8 spot put on by the Pilots. And that's a 4-pitch walk issued to Nick Klemp. He's reached base for the 3rd time today.
Yeah, he's having a really great game today. Doing some stuff offensively, but more importantly, really handling the Gillis's pitches well. I mean, Gillis is putting on a performance.
Yeah, 9 strikeouts for Gillis. And now we've got the professional hitter coming to the plate. Ethan Lovelace's day is done. It's Gabe Scoro coming to the plate as the new DH.
Left-handed specialist, professional hitter Gabe Scoro.
Scoro was 1 for 4 yesterday. Reached base twice. One of the times was on an error. First pitch strike on the outer half of the plate. It's 0-1.
And more importantly, is he had 4 quality at-bats.
Yes.
They were great at-bats. I don't think he was 1 for 4, but he always just puts in a real pesky at-bat.
Well hit ball into left field. Latham will make the catch about 6 or 7 feet in front of the warning track. It's a good pop from the bat from Scoro, but can't find an opening, and there's one away. Ty Saunders, the switch hitter for Portland, now coming to the plate. He's 1 for 2 today. 2 RBI double in the second inning. And then he popped out to Brock Watkins, the shortstop, his last time up in the 3rd. Small lead for Klemp over at first. Mabius looks over, comes home with it inside at the knees for a strike. It's 0-1. Pintar, the second baseman, setting up at double play depth as Saunders swings through a fastball low. It's a strike. Saunders sends it right back up the middle. One hops it to the center fielder, McIntyre. And now there's 2 aboard after the 1-out single, and we go back to the top of the lineup to Sukata. Sukata today is 1 for 3. Had an RBI single in the second. Otherwise, he grounded out to second base, and then he flew out to McIntyre his last time up. Sukata hitting .266 on the season. .214 with runners on base. First pitch strike, it's 0-1. Watkins keeping an eye on Klemp, the shortstop. Sukata, fly ball into shallow center field, called off by McIntyre, who's come a long way from center field to make that catch in shallow left center. And 2 away now for Portland.
Yeah, pretty close to being an infield fly. If the shortstop goes out and gets that, they might call that an infield fly, but
Holcroft to the plate, 2 for 3 today. 2 doubles, 2 runs. His last time up, ground ball to Deming over at first. And it went 3 unassisted. breaking ball, inner half of the plate around the belt. It's 0-1. Holcroft fouls it off to our left, out of play. Now behind 0-2 in the count. Klemp with a small lead over at second. Breaking ball again. Holcroft was expecting fastball, but got the breaking ball, was able to fight it off, and then goes back to the 0-2 count. Mabius looks back at Klemp. Another breaking ball. Stayed high and inside. First ball to Holcroft, 1-2.
Really turned out to be a pretty nice day for baseball. The temperature's not too bad, and the high, big clouds, and obviously the Pilots up 10-0. That's a pretty great day out here.
Makes it much more bearable. It's 57 degrees here on the bluff. And that one got Holcroft. Breaking ball that just didn't break.
Got him on the hand. He was holding the bat, and he defensive rolled, and it got him on the hand on the bat. Looks like he's going to be okay.
Saw him shaking it as soon as he got hit. So now the bases are loaded. Klemp at third, Saunders at second, and Holcroft is over at first. And Ben Pataxel now up at the plate. Pataxel yesterday went 2 for 3 with a couple of singles so far today. He's 2 for 3 with a single and a double, 2 runs and 2 RBI. He has a chance to tack on a couple more RBI with a base hit here.
Very capable of having a 5 for 5 day.
He's done it before.
First game of the year.
First game.
Yeah.
In fact, right now he's still the only Pilot to have 5 hits in a game this season. The 1-0 fouled off behind us and to our right. It will even the count at 1-1. Sam Brown on deck. You know, we always talk about Pataxel's defensive play. He's stellar in the field over at third, but it seems like he's really come into his own here this season at the plate. High, gets to the backstop, but BYU fortunate. The ricochet off the padding went right to Peterson, and all the runners stay at their respective bases.
Yeah, he's a very well-rounded player. He does it with the glove and can hit, runs the bases well. And he's been doing it for a couple of years, really.
Yeah, 47 hits last season, hit 263. The 2-1, high again, making it 3-1. And BYU might walk in a run.
He'll have many more than 47 hits this year. You watch.
You think so?
Yeah. Maybe 15 more, maybe.
All right, I like your prediction. The 3-1 fouls it back. Well, he's got 18 now on the season with his 2 today. He was averaging about a hit a game last season in 48 contests with the 47 hits. The 3-2 low and inside, but they call strike 3, and Mabius gets the call he was looking for, and the Pilots strand 3 out on the water. We head to the 6th inning, a 10-0 lead for Portland. Pratt, McIntyre, and Latham due up when we return.
Ozzie Pratt.
Ozzie Pratt comes to the plate. It's the first batter against Brett Gillis, who's coming out for his 6th inning of work. As he struck out 9, only 1 walk, 1 hit so far allowed through 5. Breaking ball that stays high. It'll be 1-0. Pataxo about 15 feet off the line from third. Pratt takes strike 1. It's 1-1. Sub movement from the infield, has the right side playing back. Sukata is on the outfield grass right now. Breaking ball hit out into left field. Briley Knight takes a few steps in and to his right. And a routine fly ball to start off the 6th inning. Mitch McIntyre now coming to the plate. 0 for 2 today.
Mitch McIntyre.
First time up, grounded out to Gillis on the mound. And then back in the 3rd, he struck out looking. Breaking ball on the outer part of the plate for strike 0-1. High bouncer off the screen behind home plate. It'll be 1-1. McIntyre again chasing on a low pitch. He's done that twice now already today. Overall, seems like Gillis has done a good job mixing up his pitches. He hasn't been too predictive, I guess.
Yeah, he's done a heck of a job just locating all around the strike zone with 2 pitches for sure. Actually 3 at times with the changeup.
The Pilot faithful wanted strike 3 right there on McIntyre. Instead, it's ball 2. Now a 2-2 count. Gillis trying to get to double-digit strikeouts. In the dirt, no chase. Full count now, 3-2. The 3-2. And he walks McIntyre. Second walk issued today. And the first batter to reach base since the 2nd inning.
Number 43, Dawson Hall.
And now we have a new hitter. Number 43, Dawson Hall. Hitting for Hayden Latham. Latham was 0 for 2 for this change. Bottom of the zone, first strike. It's 1-1. Hall is a sophomore from Spanish Fork, Utah. He's making only his 5th appearance on the season as he swings through that one, 1-2. In fact, this is only his 3rd at-bat on the year. He's 1 for 2 with a double. Decent lead over at first for McIntyre. Klemp, good job quickly getting out of the stance right there to prevent McIntyre moving up 90 feet. It's 2-2. McIntyre 4 for 4 on stolen bases, and we saw him take one yesterday.
He runs very well.
He does.
Very well.
Not just on the bases, but in the field. He took multiple hits away from Pilots yesterday. Foul ball that nobody will be able to get to. And back to the 2-2 count on Hall. Hall in his 2 at-bats. Again, he had the double. His other at-bat was a strikeout, the 2-2. Another strikeout for Gillis. And that now makes 10 on the day. And there's 2 away.
The second baseman, number 4, Andrew Pintar.
Pintar comes to the plate. 0 for 1 on the day, struck out looking back in the 4th inning, and he reached on a walk back in the 1st. Strike on Pintar makes it 0-1. May 8th of last season, Gillis had 12 strikeouts through 6 1/3 innings of work. Fouled off the helmet of Klemp. That's probably the 3rd time that's happened today.
Those 12 strikeouts, didn't he win West Coast Pitcher of the Week that week?
He did.
I feel like that was right before that Oregon State series that we played last year. Or the Pilots played last year.
There you go.
This
The 0-2.
definitely a performance similar.
Fly ball into right center field. Scavato might not be able to get to that. It's at the wall. Bounces off the base of the wall on the warning track. Runner being sent around third to come in and score. That's McIntyre, and he will. An RBI double for Pintar. And BYU is on the board. They now trail 10-1.
Well, there's a reason why there was a bunch of scouts in the park last night. It was not only for the Pilots, but also for Mr. Pintar. And Mr. Pintar has shown that he's a heck of a ball player.
Absolutely. And now up at the plate, Cole Gambill, 0 for 2 today with 2 strikeouts. Ground ball to Sam Brown at first, gets downfield to himself, steps on the bag, and that will retire the BYU Cougars here in the 6th inning. 1 run comes in to score thanks to an RBI double by Andrew Pintar. But it's the Pilots with a 10-1 lead. Brown, Knight, and Scavato due up in the 6th on the WCC Network. We welcome you back into Joe Etzel Field. Brian Sly, Corey Kier with your call. Sam Brown stepping to the plate with a 9-run lead for Portland. It's BYU got to run across in the top half of the 6th inning. Brown taking strike 1. It's 0-1. He's hitting a scorching .429 as the leadoff man in innings. So far today, he's 1 for 3 with a strikeout, a ground out, and a big 3-run home run. Here's a chopper to the right side, fielded by Deming, the first baseman. The flip to Mabius, the pitcher covering, and Brown is retired to start the 6th. Briley Knight coming to the plate, 2 for 3 today with an RBI and a run to his name and a stolen base. Yesterday, we saw him jump all over the first pitch. And 3 of his 4 at-bats, he swung at the first pitch. Now we have one of the coaches for BYU talking with the first base umpire, Dan Payne. And you can only wonder what that conversation is after the play just made by BYU to get the out at first. And you hate to speculate as Knight takes ball one. It's 1-0. Shift put on for Knight. 3 infielders on the right side. He's beaten the shift twice. Now here's a flare out to center field. And a diving play by McIntyre out in center field. That steals a hit away from Briley Knight. I thought it was going to drop in there with the way that Watkins was running back. His back was to the infield. You thought maybe he'd make a basket catch, but McIntyre calls him off and makes a diving stop.
Yeah, McIntyre is a great player. Watkins is a great player. Actually, BYU is a great ball club.
Yes, they are.
They really are. They play, they're actually, I feel like they're real similar to the Pilots. You know, they do a lot of really good things.
Just a well-rounded team overall. As Evan Scavato steps to the plate. Correction. We have a pinch hitter. It's Ethan Smith, the senior from Snohomish, Washington. Smith ahead in the count, 2-0. And make it 3-0 for the senior. Smith hitting 200, only making his 8th appearance on the year. He's got 2 hits and 10 at-bats. And there he works himself on with a 4-pitch walk. And Nick Klemp coming up to the plate. Klemp has reached base in all 3 at-bats today. Had an RBI single in the second. And then since then, he's walked twice. He has 2 stolen bases. And he was left stranded at third and second his last 2 times up. Smith didn't have a good read on Mabius on the mound as he was already leaning back as Mabius delivered that pitch. It's 1-0, 5 straight balls now. Rain is expected to start in about 15 minutes as the throw down to first. Smith back in head first. Delivery to Klemp. Strike at the knees, bottom of the zone. It's 2-1. Wind blowing in now as that's picked up. Another back pick, Smith. Back safely. And 3-1 now on Klemp. Infield playing back. Klemp fouls it off to our right. And that'll make it a full count, 3-2. Well, baseball not the only thing happening on the Bluff today. Women's basketball hosting round 1 of the WNIT against Colorado State with tip starting at 7 p.m. tonight inside the Giles Center. The 3-2. Klemp, chopper over to second. Pintar fields it on the up hop. And an easy throw over to first to get Klemp. And that will retire the Pilots here in the 6th. They strand 1, no runs come in to score. We go to the 7th inning. Sapiti, Peterson, Deming, 2 up for the Cougars on the WCC Network. Brett Gillis back out on the mound for Portland, and he's had a fantastic day on the rubber. 10 strikeouts to just 2 walks. He's given up 2 hits, only 1 earned run through 6 innings of work. And he's only at 81 pitches so far, so he's been quite efficient.
And that's what he's done best today, which is start every hitter with strike one. It'd be real interesting to go back and look. And I know it hasn't been every hitter, but it's been a large portion of the hitters he started out with strike one.
A new hitter up at the plate as he fouls that one off into the glove of Nick Klemp. It was supposed to be Ryan Sapiti, the DH, but now it's Joshua Cowden, Jr. from Payson, Utah. The 0-2. Strike 3. Strikeout number 11 for Gillis. And the guillotine continues to come down on BYU.
Again, that ball's 4 balls off the plate, but he's called it every single time.
I mean, you're going to look at it.
He's right over the white line.
Inside at the feet to Peterson. Goes for a ball. It'll be 1-0. Cowden was batting a team high .357 in 11 appearances so far this season. Peterson swings at the off speed. That was high. It'll be 1-1. The 11 strikeouts ties him with 10 other pilots in a single game list. In fact, he ties with his teammate Eli Morse, who did it a couple of seasons ago. Peterson on the ropes with a 2-2 count. Infield playing back for Portland. Strike 3. Back-to-back Ks looking. 12 strikeouts. That ties his career high. Mind you, he came into today 5th in the conference in strikeouts and 5th in strikeouts per 9 innings, just under 12.
And if I remember correctly, it wasn't like a 1.9 ERA, 1.19 or 1.9 ERA. It was pretty low ERA, I felt like.
Whoa. It's 1.50.
1.50. 1.50.
Really adding on to that ERA there.
Yeah, well, it could be less here shortly.
Breaking ball for a strike, bottom of the zone. It's 1-1. His ERA coming in, the 1.50, was tops in the conference.
That's what I remember. Yep.
Another breaking ball. This one stays high and inside, 2-1. Infield back. Brown off the line at first. Fastball was high, 3-1. Gills creeping up the pitch count. Ground ball up the middle, past Saunders into center field. Holcroft will field it, and a 2-out single for Austin Deming. That'll be just the 3rd hit for BYU today.
The shortstop, number 2, Brock Watkins.
And Nygaard is warming up down in the bullpen for Portland. As Brock Watkins steps to the plate, 0 for 2 today. Grounded out on a fielder's choice. Both times, though, he's grounded out to Ty Saunders at short. Here's a look at Nygaard in the bullpen. Allegro watching on. Watkins empty on that swing. 1-1.
Yeah, Nygaard yesterday, I think he pitched, 2 innings or maybe an inning and 2/3 and really had one bad pitch.
Yeah, an inning and 2/3. Gave up 2 hits. Gillis gets another strike. It's 1-2.
Yeah, he had a 3-2 changeup with second and third, and I think he hung it a little bit, and the guy hit it to left field, but still a lot left in Nygaard's arm for the weekend.
He only threw 25 pitches yesterday. What's your usual method on keeping your arm healthy? You don't want to overuse him. 25 pitches in one outing as a relief guy.
Yeah, it really depends on the arm. I mean, there's rules in high school, and depends on the arm. But a guy like Nygaard that's worked in the pen, I mean, he's a pen guy. He's used to coming out of the bullpen, pitching an inning, which could be 14 to 15 pitches, maybe 20. So he should be ready to come out and be just fine.
Full count now on Watkins. Looking for a new career high, 13 strikeouts. Can he get it right here? And just fouled off enough by Watkins to get it to the backstop. We'll go back to a full count.
I wonder how many, have you looked to see how many the career total best strikeouts in one game for the Pilots?
Most strikeouts in one game for Portland is 16. Mind you, that was in a 7-inning game back in 1967 as Watkins gets himself on with a walk. Jim Golden.
Third baseman, number 5, Ozzie Pratt.
As Ozzie Pratt steps to the plate. Pratt 0 for 2 today, ground out to Gillis on the mound. And his last time up, flew out to Briley Knight out in the left. And Coach Lambert going out to the mound and having a visit with his pitcher.
Some big names in that 14 category. I can see that you got Kyle Kraus and Travis Radke. I remember both those guys. Kevin Baker, great story. Kevin Baker went to a private Catholic school in Northern California, came up here for the nursing program and just walked on the field one day and said, I'd like to play baseball, and ended up being a good arm for the Pilots. And I'm trying to look at some of those other names. But yeah, getting 14, getting 12 punch-outs in a game is a big deal, especially at the Division I level.
Especially against a team like BYU who can hit the cover off the ball. And now the meeting on the mound is over. And what do you think Lambert had to say to Gillis right there? I mean, with 2 outs, you're just trying to get one more, get out of this inning, let Nygaard come in with a clean inning?
That's probably exactly what he said, and ask him how he was feeling. Obviously, my impression of Brett is he's kind of a tough guy. I guarantee he said, I'm fine. I could probably go next inning. But yeah, he's just getting a little pulse on the – and planting a positive seed out there. Hey, let's get a ground ball to Sue here. Let's get a ball to Pataxel. Let's work down the zone. Just plant a nice positive seed for him to finish his start on.
You think he'd love to set a new career high with 13 strikeouts. Get that last punch out. Breaking ball turned, a line drive right at Sam Brown at first. That could have been dangerous, but instead Gillis gets out of the inning. Sam Brown with a line drive catch. No runs coming to score for BYU. It's Scoro, Saunders, and Sukata due up for Portland when we return on the WCC Network. New pitcher on the mound, number 26, Carter Smith, takes the rubber. Smith is making his 6th appearance, has a 5.40 ERA through 3 1/3 innings of work. Scoro swings at the first pitch, first strike, 0-1. Giving up 5 runs, only 2 of those were earned. Off of 4 hits, he's got 4 strikeouts and 4 walks on the season. Hitters are hitting .286 against him. No call from the home plate umpire, 1-1 on Scoro. Mabius's day is done. 2 innings pitched on 37 pitches. 2 walks, a strikeout, and only 1 hit surrendered. Off speed. Scoro takes a strike. It's 1-2. Scoro had a good at-bat last time up. Made contact and drove it out into left field. There's one into right field, and it'll drop right in front of Cole Gambill. And the professional hitter comes through again.
Well, 1 for 3 today?
Well, no, he's only had 2 at-bats. He's 1 for 2 today.
1 for 2 today.
But it still works out in his favor. That's 500.
Yes, it is. Professional hitter, Mr. Scoro.
Shortstop, number 5, Ty Saunders.
Ty Saunders now up at the plate. Saunders is 2 for 3 with a 2 RBI double in the 2nd inning. He also had a single in the 5th where he was left stranded at second. Inside for a ball, 1-0.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about, again, we've talked about it before, but what Scoro can do is that Scoro sat on the bench for 4 innings while Lovelace faced the right-hander, and then when the left-hander came in, he came into the game. So it's hard to sit on the bench and then get an at-bat and go out there and perform, and he's found a way to do that his career here.
Breaking ball that just never broke. It'll make it 2-0 on Saunders. Saunders hitting .255 on the season. Another one inside. 3 straight balls now by Carter Smith. Saunders takes a strike. It'll be 3-1. You know, something very important happened on this day in the world of basketball. And I know that throws you sort of for a loop. You're not a big basketball guy, Corey. Saunders lines one up the middle, but Pintar makes a diving grab by second. What a stop by the second baseman. Robs Saunders of a hit. And we go back to the top of the lineup to Sukata. Another look at it, though. A screamer off the bat.
Number 7, Jake Sukata.
Now, Corey, only 2 words were spoken in this press release back in 1995. And Sukata, ground ball up the middle. Watkins gets it, flips it over to Pintar. And they will get the lead out at second. Pintar eats it on the relay throw. So fielder's choice for Sukata.
BYU flashing some leather up the middle. 2 balls that generally get through and get knocked down there, and outs recorded.
Holcroft. 2 for 3 today and hit by a pitch. Takes a strike here to start off this at-bat, 0-1. Slight shift with Watkins almost behind the bag at second, with Pintar, the second baseman, on the outfield grass in right field. Wind is now picking up, blowing what seems to be right to left. Still blowing relatively in, though, from center field. The 1-1. Holcroft fouls it off into the netting to our left, 1-2.
Just doing research on that professional hitter. The first time I heard it, I think it was maybe ESPN talking about trying to think of his name. Dang it, I'm losing his name. Matt Stairs being a professional hitter.
Oh, yeah.
But when you look at him, he's only 17th on the list on all-time best pinch hitters. The one that's really surprising me is Mark Sweeney is number 2. Let's go for a point here. Do you know who the number 1 guy is?
Number 1 pinch hitter
Of all time. He had
all time.
212 pinch hits.
This ball gets away from the catcher, Peterson. Sukata will take second easily. Nothing's coming to me off the top of my head.
I'll give you some hints because I threw this little curveball at you. He was an utility infielder.
Full count on Holcroft.
He made his major league debut in 1988, and his last appearance was with the Florida Marlins in 05. So I'll give you
Another ball to the backstop. Holcroft will take first. Sukata moves over to third. So he finished with the Marlins.
Yeah, but this will be the big one. In 2003, he played for the Cubs, and you're a Cubs guy, so.
Oh, is it like? So he started in '88. You said, what is it, like Kenny Lofton?
It's not Lofton, but when I read off the teams, you might think it is Lofton. He played for the Reds, the Dodgers, the Reds, the Mets, the Rockies, the Diamondbacks, the Brewers, then the Cubs, and then the Marlins. Not a everyday name, but you'll know it when I say it.
Yeah, I'm going to probably be upset with myself when I can't get it as the umpires.
Well, he is a Cub. I mean, you know most Cubs.
And I'm trying to think back to that 03 team and the heartbreak that was 03. That was the postseason of Bartman. And that's Pataxel up at the plate now with 2 outs, runners on the corners. Ground ball to the left side. Watkins charges it off the heel of his glove. He can't make a clean play. 1 run comes in to score, and Sukata Pataxel reaches base.
He's currently the Nationals hitting coach. There's another.
I can tell you one thing, that's not going to help me.
Okay, I'll tell you what it is and write my point down.
Hold on. I'm still rattling my brain around here. Oh my goodness, I can see his face right now. And it's
212 career pinch hits. That's huge.
I feel like he played first base as well, possibly for the Cubs. Brown into center field. McIntyre took a step back, now comes in, and that will be the final out. We'll hear the answer when we return in the 8th inning. The Pilots strand a couple of runners due up in the 8th for BYU. McIntyre, Hall, and Pintar when we return on the WCC Network. Nick Nygaard on the mound. Brett Gillis' day is done after 7 innings of work. Nygaard on the season, a 3.32 ERA. He's got 2 saves and 19 innings of work, giving up 17 hits, 7 earned runs, and 19 strikeouts to just 3 walks. As McIntyre steps into the box. First pitch, strike, outer half of the plate near the knees. It's 0-1. All right, Corey. I am stumped. I gave you a name during the break that was not correct. As I was rattling around in my mind, 0-2 now on McIntyre, who's not exactly pleased with that call. I said the name Eric Karros, which also played for a lot of those teams that
same time frame as well.
Line drive right at Pataxil at third. McIntyre retired quickly here in the 8th inning.
It's Lenny Harris. Lenny Harris. You don't know him?
I never would have said Lenny Harris in my life.
Okay, I thought for sure Encyclopedia Brian would. You are a young man.
I know. There were a lot of names I was thinking about, but Lenny Harris was not one of them that popped up.
212 pinch hits. That's a season of hits.
That is.
Coming off the bench.
Swing and a miss. Delivered by Nygaard. It's 0-1. Dawson Hall at the plate. 0-for-1 today. Struck out his last time up when he came in the 6th inning. Now he's behind 0-2. I mean, do you want to lay up for a point?
Nothing's a layup for me, man.
Oh, I was giving you one earlier. Here's 1-2 now on Hall.
That 2-word thing I was hoping you would avoid.
Oh, yeah, but it's
so
thinking, easy because everybody else has done their own version of it lately.
Oh, man, that doesn't mean I know it.
I would be absolutely shocked if you did not know this. As ball 2 to Hall, it's now 2-2. Think about it. He retired.
Who's he?
Played a different sport and came back with this press release that was just 2 words. Fouled off. Klemp needs a moment, so the home plate umpire, Mike Goebel, will give the new ball to Nygaard.
I'm back?
I'm back.
Oh, my gosh, I did get it.
There you go, Corey.
I don't know who the player was. Was it Shaq? Who was
Now you're really scaring me here, Corey. It's only the greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan.
Oh, Jordan, of course, yeah. There's been a lot of players that have come back.
There are, but there aren't many that left, played a different sport, and then came back with the I'm back.
That's the piece I missed. I bet you Dion could have done that.
Probably could have. I mean, Dion did play in a Super Bowl and a World Series. It's Nygaard, inside pitch on Hall. Hall just out of the way of it. It's full count, 3-2. Of course, you also think about Bo Jackson, who played 2 sports. I honestly don't think there'll be another athlete like him, just so dominant at the running back position, and then just a powerful arm, could hit the ball a mile as a baseball player.
The thing I remember is him, the highlight of him running up the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Running up the wall. And his bazooka cannon for an arm as well.
Runner on first with 1 out now for Nygaard as Andrew Pintar swings at the first pitch he sees. Going to send this into foul territory to our right. Ooh, and it looked like it got a bumper on the bounce.
No air there. All car.
And rule number 1 during baseball season, you never park near the stadium. Even those cars out beyond the scoreboard in right field, those are not safe. As we saw Sam Brown send a ball in that direction yesterday.
Well, last evening there was a young lady standing in the window watching the game, and when the ball was hit, I thought if it was more to the right, it could hit the window. I feel like it was to the left of the dorm. It would have been interesting if it would have hit the dorm.
Fly ball into right field. Ethan Smith is out there now for Portland. That is the only defensive change, and he makes the easy grab, and there's 2 away.
Right fielder, number 22, Cole Gamble.
Cole Gambill now up at the plate. Oh for 3 today, 2 strikeouts, and he grounded out to Sam Brown at first in what was unassisted his last time up. Nygaard missing low and away. It's 1-0. The 1-0. Nygaard responds with a strike, 1-1.
Now, when we're done here, you're heading over and doing basketball?
That is correct.
So
short break in between.
So did you shower last night with your headset on? And
I did, yeah. It's exactly how we do it in the industry.
Just leave it on?
Nygaard, another strike. 1-2. It's actually just permanently attached to my head. It doesn't come off. Keep us busy on the bluff. The 1-2 from Nygaard. Just enough of it by Gambill.
And then flip it right around tomorrow, 1 o'clock here.
1 o'clock here, and then a 7 p.m. tip for men's basketball.
Wow, that's a heck of 48 hours. Big shout out to the crew that does all this work.
Oh yeah, Portland Sports Network putting on all these productions. It's Nygaard missing. It's now 2-2. And if you think I'm busy, they're more busy.
Yeah, and the pilots are definitely all pilots, athletic pilots, are blessed with a program that they run, because I watch a lot of sports on live stream, and they do probably one of the best jobs around.
Yeah, we're fortunate here on the bluff. Nygaard from the stretch, third base side of the rubber, looks at the runner, now comes home with it. Ground ball pulled down the first base line. And we'll go back to the full count, 3-2. Once the women's WNIT, or the WNIT just in general, I should say, is going on tonight for the Pilots as they take on Colorado State. And then the Basketball Classic is what the men are playing in. Gambill just belts one foul well over the street to our right. But as I was saying, men's basketball is playing in the Basketball Classic against New Orleans tomorrow at 7 p.m. A lot has changed on the bluff basketball-wise over the last few seasons. Women's basketball under Mike Meek in his third season is now making his third straight postseason appearance. Last season, he was able to get the Pilots their first postseason victory ever in program history at the WBI. And a walk. Second one by Nygaard.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not a student here. I don't know how much homework I'd be getting done this weekend. A lot of great Division I athletics going on. And then I hear about some concert going on as well. What's that all about?
Yeah, there's a Rock the Bluff concert going on. 3 different artists performing inside the Child Center. And that'll take place next Saturday. Fly ball, shallow left field. Saunders calling everybody off. And he will make the catch. And that will end BYU's side of the 8th inning. They strand a couple of runners on base. No runs come in to score as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's Knight, Smith, and Klemp when we return.
number 14.
A new arm on the mound for BYU. It's number 42, Jake Porter, freshman from South Weber, Utah. And Briley Knight beats the shift again for the third time today, where Brock Watkins would normally set up at the shortstop position. Briley Knight gets a ground ball that way, and it's a one-pitch single. And Ethan Smith now up at the plate for the second time today. No official at-bat as he walked in the 6th inning. Pilots with a 10-run lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning as Smith takes ball 2. It's now 2-0. He hasn't seen a strike yet in either of his 2 at-bats. It was a 4-pitch walk back in the 6th inning, and now he's starting out 2-0. No movement from the infielders. Pintar now creeping in at second. Smith sees his first strike. It's 2-1. High on Smith. That'll make it 3-1. Well, Corey, you know I like to do my research before we get to these games about what happened on this date, at what time. And I came across something I'd never known as Smith fouls it off of himself. It's now full count, 3-2. And it was the fact that both Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle were both suspended from Major League Baseball at one point. That was later reversed in 1985 by the Commissioner Pete Ubroth. Smith strikes out, and that'll be the first out here in the 8th inning. Now, Corey, do you have any idea why they might have been suspended?
I feel like I saw this in the. I feel like I saw this in the movie 42, and I just don't remember what he did. There was something that he did, and it was.
Well, it's Willie Mays, not Jackie Robinson.
I know that. I know that.
You said 42.
I know, but it was. They were referencing it. Was it fighting or cussing or something?
Does not, as Clem takes ball 1. It'll be 1-0. No, in fact, both of those gentlemen just took a greeter's job at a casino. And Major League Baseball commissioner at the time was Bowie Kuhn. And he decided that was too much interaction between gambling and the sport of baseball. So he suspended both Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle.
Too close to gambling. That's what I remember now.
And the funny part is there was no sports betting at the time at the casino that Willie Mays was working at. In fact, if you work for the casino, you can't even place a bet at that casino. The 1-1, Clem, ground ball to the right side. Pintar gets down to the ground. Throw over to Watkins for 1. Not in time on the relay throw. But a great effort by Andrew Pintar, the second baseman, to prevent that ball from getting to the outfield. They got the lead man out.
Peter Ubroth, the commissioner of baseball. I think the last time there was a big strike, maybe.
Ubroth. Let's see, the last big one was in the 90s.
Yeah. I think he was all the way up to...
Before Bud Selig, ground ball up the middle. Brock Watkins, easy flip to Pintar on the fielder's choice, and that will end the Pilots half of the 8th. We head to the final frame, due up for BYU, the catcher Chase Peterson, Austin Deming, and Brock Watkins when we return on the WCC Network.
Chase Peterson.
Well, we've reached the final inning of action. A 10-run lead right now for Portland as they lead 11-1 for BYU. Chase Peterson up at the plate. Nygaard back out on the mound. First pitch out of the zone low for a ball. It's 1-0.
We've been talking about pinch hit, and I think I got another one I can steal a point from you on. We talked about most pinch hits career-wise, but how about most pinch hits in a season? I will give you lots of hints. It happened in 2017.
Okay. Good start.
And it was a Mariner. And he had 109 of them.
Now that's at-bats or hits?
Pinch hit games. He had
Okay.
109 opportunities in 2017 for the Seattle Mariners.
Like a D. Gordon?
Bigger player than D. Gordon.
Pinch hits.
Towards the tail end of his pretty phenomenal career.
Oh, was it Ichiro?
Ichiro Suzuki.
Yeah, I forgot he played that final season.
All right, we're going to go ahead and give Brian a point there, Ichiro. 109 opportunities to get a pinch hit.
That's a fun one because you wouldn't really think about that because
He started so many years.
yeah, he started so many years, and you almost forget that he played that final season in Seattle. This ball torched foul. We'll go back to the full count, 3-2. That's a good one.
It was a tough season watching Ichiro not be an everyday starter.
You say that, and yet he still played 2/3 of the games that season.
He did. But
Now, granted, he's not out in the field all 9 innings and all that other stuff. He probably came in 7th inning and on. Three-two. Infield playing back for Portland. Ground ball to the right side. Sukata all over it. And an easy toss to Brown for the first out. Now, where do you stand on the Pete Rose Ichiro situation? Pete Rose didn't really want to legitimize the 3,000 hits of Ichiro originally because he had it professionally in Japan.
Oh, I think that's a tough one. I think that first and foremost, they both should be Hall of Famers.
Well, without a doubt, yeah.
And I mean, Ichiro just hits. Tony Gwynn just hits.
Just hit, yeah.
Same as Pete Rose.
The 1-0 count to Deming. Line drive back up the middle into center field, and Deming has his second hit of the day. So he singled back in the 7th and was left stranded. But now he's over at first, and that'll bring up Brock Watkins. Over 2 today. Couple of ground outs over to the shortstop, Ty Saunders, and he walked his last time up in the 7th.
Yeah, coaching the West Coast League this summer. Spent some time with Japanese baseball player Riku Nishida, and made me really do a lot of research about Japanese baseball, and it's really intriguing the way they do baseball in Japan, and then also how they do their high school playoffs. If you ever just Google sometime about Japanese baseball and their high school playoff, every single team has a chance, and it's a single elimination, and it goes on for a very long time.
Nygaard missing low and inside for a ball. If you ever do want to learn more about the Japanese style of baseball, there's a book called You Gotta Have Wa. And it talks about the differences between Japanese baseball and American baseball. 2-0. Watkins fouls it off to our right, 2-1.
Well, Rico spent a lot of time in the dugout teaching me about tempo. He played for a legendary coach, and his coach talked about finishing defensive innings within 6 minutes. We wanted to get on and off the field. You wanted to go really fast when you were on defense, and take your time on offense. And he explained to me that mistakes happen when innings and bad umpire calls and errors and stuff like that happens after the 6-minute mark more than anything. And it's interesting, we started timing the innings and putting them on the scorecard, and we started to find that man, if we can get off the field in less than 6 minutes, we had a pretty good inning, which makes sense anyway. I mean, it's
Chopper over to Sukata. This could be a 2-ball. The flip to Saunders. The double play ends it. And that's it. The Pilots win 11-1. In what was a drastic difference of a game from yesterday to today, the Pilot bats came alive. In fact, everybody came in and scored except for one person in that second inning where the Pilots put up 8 runs. And Corey, your thoughts on today's game as a whole?
I mean, we said on day one the BYU was a better ball club. Today, the Pilots are a better ball club. I'm really excited to see what happens tomorrow because you got 2 really good ball clubs. They can really pitch. They can defend. It'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow.
Eli Morris is on the mound. He's 3-0. Ryan Brady on the mound for BYU tomorrow. First pitch at 1 p.m. here at Joe Etzel Field on the WCC Network. Thank you to the production crew upstairs. That was Corey Keir, and I'm Brian Slig. Stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow.